Hey guys, what's going on? Ken Raider here for Raider Sports. How are we doing today? So we have another day down and another athletic department slashing budgets in preparation for the inevitable financial calamity being levied upon it by the unmentionable sickness. We have to say unmentionable sickness on here because YouTube does not allow us to say the unmentionable term, which is COVID-19. Oops, did I just say that? Oh well, get over it. So as I was beginning this video, I was going to start with the most recent events first, which would have been Central Michigan and ECU. But as I was doing research into this video, I found the very disingenuous way I feel that Akron has gone about this whole budget cut thing, and I figured I had bigger zips to fry. So that's where I'm going to start. Now, speaking of the Akron I don't give a zips, in an effort to cut $4.4 million, they have eliminated men's golf, women's tennis, and men's cross country, along with staff cuts, scholarship reduction, and coaches' pay. Staff cuts and coaches' pay, I'm not really worried about. At times, coaches are overpaid, and in staff cuts, we know for everybody who is not working that when things go south, people get laid off. And when you're losing teams, you're going to lose staff too, and you're going to lose scholarship, so that makes up for the scholarship reductions there. So it's not like anybody from the football team is going to lose a scholarship. And with eliminating the 3 teams, that puts Akron at 16 teams sponsored, which is the threshold and the magic number in the numbers everybody seems to be aiming for, because that's the minimum number required of teams that you have to sponsor in order to be considered a D1 team. And those aren't the horrifying things in this. The most horrifying thing in this entire thing for me is the fact that Akron is the only school so far in these whole budget cuts that said scholarships for affected athletes will not be honored. Excuse me if I say that gets me a little worried. That if I have a kid, or if I'm an athlete who might be transferring in, or as a senior in high school looking at Akron and Akron comes calling, I see these things and I'm like, no, they will not, because they will not honor their commitment to my kid. They will not honor the commitment to me that they made. If something else goes wrong and further budget cuts, will I still be at Akron? Could my scholarship get stripped just because Akron doesn't have enough money to keep me on, and then would I have to go? Because that's what they're doing to these poor kids. They're saying, look, if you're going to stay in this institution, you're going to have to pay your own way. If you're on a golf or tennis or cross-country team, you're going to have to pay your own way, or you have to transfer, get out of town, see you later. And that's what I really have the problem with. Okay, well, enough about Akron. The I don't give a zips. Now moving over, but staying in the MAC, we go to Central Michigan, who eliminated their men's track and field team. AD Michael Alford announced Tuesday, stating that the school is facing a new financial reality. Aren't we all? 36 student athletes will be affected. 2 full-time assistant coaching positions were slashed. Scholarships will be honored for current and incoming athletes, much better than Akron, who their athletes are gone. But the scholarships will be honored, so that's a good thing. And athletes who transfer will be released without penalty and may transfer immediately. And with the elimination of the men's track and field team, Central Michigan has now the D1 minimum of 16 sponsored teams, saving the institution $600,000 per year. Now, it seems like Central Michigan had done a much, much better job of handling this, in my opinion, than, let's say, Akron did. But it's still sad that any of these had to go. But hey, it's the new, as Micah Alford said, it's the new financial reality we're all facing in college sports today, is the fact that a lot of these schools are going to be working on some tight budgets, and that cuts are going to have to be made. It's really unfortunate, but that's just the reality of the situation. The only FCS team on my radar is Furman. the Paladins are getting rid of baseball and lacrosse. And we know baseball is kind of like the third sport in the NCAA after basketball and football. So when baseball's getting cut, between them and Bowling Green did as well. I didn't get a logo for that because I didn't think about Bowling Green at the time I was making this. I don't know why, but it just slipped my mind. But when you're getting rid of baseball and all the new traction that's been happening for lacrosse, it just says that Furman might have a bigger issue in making some cuts than other schools have. And the president did take a 20% salary decrease, and all their scholarships will be honored, unlike Akron. So, way to go for the Paladins, for at least trying to make the best of a bad situation. And off to the AAC we go, with the team who started it all, put the wheels in motion, the very first college to cut a sport, and that was when Cincinnati got rid of Bearcat soccer. And so, if they're the first ones, aren't they the ones to blame? Aren't they the ones who started it all? No blame should really be thrown at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's actually a pretty cool school. I actually like the Bearcats, and so we'll give them a pass on this one. And now to a school the more I hear about, the more I like, FIU, even though they eliminated track and field. Their president did something really cool. He forwent his entire salary, over $400,000, giving that back to the school so that the school can be more stable. Look, guys, the more I hear about FIU, the more I see FIU, the more I fall in love with FIU. They are seriously running up my popularity chart, and I'm telling you what, with the fact that there's football teams getting stable, they beat Miami this year, they just might find their way on my pennant wall. I'll tell you that. I'm just absolutely, and I fall in love with this team more and more every year. So now let's turn it over to the team who inspired this video, ECU. And that's because ECU came out and they said the changes are coming. And they will be coming in the next couple days, not couple weeks. And that these decisions are going to be made fairly quickly. Now the reason I bring up ECU is because not only am I keeping my eye on what's happening, their revenue structures to me is so interesting because it's one of the few that is actually, I could say, if I'm reading this right, success oriented, or you could say success funded, because a third of it comes from student fees. But then after that, you have 22% from donors, the Pirate Club, 15% from ticket sales, postseason is 11%, and then competitive games is 1%. So that's 1, 12, 15, 27, and then 22. That makes 49%. Half of the budget is based off success. Can you get those donors in? And we know ECU has not been doing well on the gridiron. They have 8 wins in the last 3 seasons, and it's really showing in their revenue numbers. I mean, they're not running at big of a loss as, say, South Florida, who I don't know has a $5 million overhead, but ECU does have a problem. We will see what they cut, because that's coming up. So the next few days are going to be very interesting to me when we figure out what ECU cuts, because Akron was leading this list at 19, and ECU, I believe, has 21, and so that means as many as 5 teams can get cut from ECU's program, and they could still be Division 1. So guys, let me know, who do you think is the next teams who are going to start making cuts after ECU? If you guys like this content, please leave a like, and thank you guys. I'm Ken Rader, and I'm signing out.